you're a veteran or service member, you might have heard of a VA loan assumption. But do you actually know how they work? Well, most people don't. But let me let you in on a little secret here. Well, I personally did a VA loan assumption. I had a veteran that was renting a home of mine, and he took over the VA loan. And I'm here to break down exactly how it works, the pros, the cons, and what you need to watch out for. They're a little tricky, but not too bad. Hi, I'm Steve, and I've helped hundreds of veterans use their VA loan benefit. So stick around because this could save you thousands of dollars or help you sell your home a little faster. So imagine locking in a really low interest rate, like a lot of us did 2 or 3 years ago, and you can use that to your advantage without needing a brand new mortgage or paying an expensive lender fees. That's exactly what the VA loan assumption allows. But here's the catch, and you need to know the details before diving in. So let's break it down. First, what is a VA loan assumption? A VA loan assumption allows the buyer to take over an existing VA loan. This includes the balance, interest rate, remaining payment schedule to include the escrow account. This can be a game changer, especially when they have low rates on that house because the buyer gets to keep the lower rate of the original loan. 2, how my VA loan assumption worked and the veteran I was renting to, when they decided they wanted to buy it, we looked at the VA loan assumption. Instead of going through the whole process, he simply took over my existing VA loan and it worked. But it wasn't instant and the whole process took about 60 days. So who can even assume VA loans? Well, veterans and active duty service members, if the buyer is VA eligible and they assume the loan, and it could free up the seller's VA entitlement. Well, civilians or non-military buyers, they can also assume the loan, but the seller's VA entitlement stays tied up with that loan until it's fully paid off. So here are the pros of the VA loan assumption. You're probably going to have a lower interest rate. If the original loan has a lower rate than today's market, then the buyer can benefit big time. There's lower closing costs. The VA loan assumptions often have lower fees than getting a whole new mortgage. And sometimes they're a little bit easier to qualify. The buyer still needs to qualify, but the process is a little bit quicker getting that transfer on the loan assumption. Now, just remember, the seller's loan servicer will qualify the buyer. But here are a couple cons that you really need to watch out for. It takes time. Mine almost took over 60 days, and it's not a quick process. The entitlement could stay tied up if the buyer isn't VA eligible. If the buyer isn't a veteran, and the seller's entitlement will remain locked up with that loan until it's fully paid off. Here's another thing. Not all lenders allow it. Some lenders don't allow the loan assumptions, or they actually could have some extra fees for the process. And here's a big one, and this is what everyone misses. So listen right here. The buyer must cover the price difference. If the home purchase price is higher than the remaining loan amount, then the buyer must pay the difference in cash. Yes, there are some companies out there that will do some crazy finances on a second mortgage, but usually the blended rate is higher than the current market rate. So don't get suckered into that. And that's a big one for people to realize is make sure you know what the remaining loan amount is and what you're responsible to bring. So here's actually how you do the loan assumption. Step 1. Well, you need to find a willing lender that allows the property to have a loan assumption on it. So make sure you check with the loan servicer before you even get started if you're buying and you're talking to the seller. Okay, make sure that the buyer must meet all the VA guidelines for income, credit, and debt. Step 3, get the process started. Once it gets approved, the lender processes the assumption paperwork. Like I said, it can take 45 to 60 days. And here's a big one. If you're selling your house, the VA entitlement check. If the buyer's VA eligible, they can swap their entitlement that frees up the seller's VA loan benefit. So if you're a veteran looking to buy or sell a home, the VA loan assumption might be a great option for you, but share this video with another veteran who could benefit from this information. And if you want to know how the lenders hide their fees, that's the next video we're going to make, is how the lenders hide the fees. So make sure you hit subscribe, hit the like button. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.